The world of mixed martial arts is no stranger to drama, controversy, and unexpected twists both inside and outside the cage. Recently, a firestorm erupted around some of the sport's brightest stars and most polarizing figures, with Daniel Cormier stepping into the spotlight to issue a rare apology after spreading misinformation about one of the UFC's rising sensations, Ilia Topuria. This incident has sent ripples through the MMA community, exposing the volatile mix of rivalry, respect, and ego that fuels the sport. At the heart of this narrative lies Ilia Topuria, a fighter whose rapid ascent through the UFC ranks has captivated fans and analysts alike. Topuria's story is one of raw talent, meticulous training, and an unyielding will to dominate. But it's also a story punctuated by the complexities of reputation, perception, and misinformation, a theme all too common in the world of elite combat sports. Daniel Cormier, a revered former champion and current commentator, recently found himself at the center of controversy after publicly sharing inaccurate details about Topuria's fighting credentials and character. Known for his insightful and often blunt commentary, Cormier's misstep prompted a backlash not only from Topuria's camp but from fans and fellow fighters who respect the Georgian Spanish fighter's rise. Recognizing the damage caused, Cormier took the unusual step of apologizing, acknowledging that his comments had unfairly misrepresented Topuria and had the potential to influence public perception unjustly. This rare moment of accountability from Cormier has sparked renewed conversations about the power and responsibility held by commentators and former fighters in shaping narratives around active competitors. In a sport where reputation can sometimes be as important as performance, the lines between hype, criticism, and misinformation blur as a line. The consequences can be profound. Alongside this apology, Renato Moicano, a fighter known for his fiery temper and uncompromising attitude, made headlines for an intense reaction during a press event. Moicano's outburst, characterized by blunt honesty and raw emotion, underscored the heightened tensions permeating the lightweight division. Fighters are feeling the pressure not just to win but to navigate the politics and posturing that surround each bout. Renato's passionate display was a stark reminder of how personal and professional frustrations often boil over in the high-stakes environment of the UFC. His tirade was fueled by the perception that some fighters get preferential treatments, especially when it comes to title shots and matchmaking decisions. Fighters like Topuria, who have swiftly climbed the ladder, sometimes face skepticism from peers and fans, questioning the legitimacy of their rapid rise. Another figure adding complexity to the discourse is Paulo Costa, whose candid and sometimes controversial remarks never failed to stir the pot. Costa has openly criticized fighters who have squandered title opportunities by missing weight or failing to seize moments that could define their careers. His pointed commentary about fighters not making weight in title fights has resonated with many who feel that professionalism and discipline are paramount in maintaining the sport's integrity. Costa's observations also reflect a broader frustration shared by many fighters and fans, the sense that talent and opportunity must be matched by responsibility and respect for the craft. Missing weight for a title fight, in Costa's eyes, is an unforgivable lapse that undermines the sport's competitive spirit. Amid these controversies and character clashes, one common thread emerges: the physical toll of the sport. Fighters endure grueling training camps, injuries, and intense weight cuts, often pushing their bodies to the brink. Arman Tsarukyan recently opened up about a debilitating back injury caused by a sciatic nerve problem that hampered his performance and weight cut. His honesty about the struggles behind the scenes shines a light on the unseen battles fighters face to make the octagon. Tsarukyan's story is emblematic of the sacrifices fighters make balancing the desire to compete at the highest level with the harsh realities of physical limits. His injury forced him to miss a title fight, a heartbreaking setback after months of preparation. Yet his determination to overcome such obstacles and return stronger exemplifies the resilience shared by many fighters. The tensions between fighters often spill over into the cage and beyond. A recent confrontation involving Sean Strickland and an opponent sticking out his tongue during a fight highlights the psychological warfare that is part of MMA's fabric. This moment of playful provocation quickly escalated, revealing how emotions run high in the cage and how respect and rivalry coexist in a complex dance. The tongue gesture, seemingly innocuous to some, was perceived as disrespectful by Strickland, leading to heated exchanges and intense focus from both fighters. This incident exemplifies the layered dynamics fighters navigate, balancing mental games, showmanship, and the serious business of combat. Kenny Florian, a respected commentator and former fighter, offered insight into the rise of Ilia Topuria. During a broadcast, Florian emphasized Topuria's extraordinary skill set, honed from years of dedicated training across multiple disciplines. Starting wrestling at age 5, progressing through jiu-jitsu and boxing by his early teens, Topuria is a rare example of a true student of the game. Florian described Topuria as a master craftsman inside the cage, able to blend striking, grappling, and strategy seamlessly. This versatility, coupled with his youth and hunger, positions him as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the sport today. Observers often marvel at how effortlessly he dismantles opponents, making complex techniques look deceptively simple. Topuria's accomplishments, being a two-division champion and dispatching notable names like Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev, speak to his elite status. Yet, his rise also fuels debate about meritocracy versus marketability in the UFC's matchmaking decisions off the cage. Topuria's lifestyle and background have drawn attention. Contrary to the stereotypical hardship fighter narrative, Topuria comes from a wealthy family and has invested in a $2 million private gym in his home. This financial stability provides him with resources to train at an elite level, but also challenges preconceived notions of who becomes a UFC star. Similarly, Arman Tsarukyan, another top contender, enjoys a lifestyle marked by luxury, seen indulging in pricey delicacies like caviar, highlighting the changing socioeconomic landscape among fighters. The idea of rich guys fighting for UFC titles intrigues many, breaking the mold of the sport's gritty underdog origins. But Topuria's journey wasn't handed to him. Despite family wealth, he worked multiple jobs in his youth, from cashier roles to teaching grappling classes and weekend security. To support his early career and pay for competition fees, his story embodies a blend of privilege and hard work, reflecting the varied paths fighters take. The dynamic nature of the lightweight division, with its blend of established veterans, hungry upstarts, and charismatic stars, creates a fertile ground for rivalries, alliances, and shifting power balances. Fighters like Topuria and Tsarukyan face constant pressure to prove their legitimacy amid skepticism and the weight of expectations. Their personal and professional interactions, whether through interviews, social media exchanges, or cage antics, fuel the ever-evolving narrative of MMA. As the UFC continues to grow and evolve, it grapples with balancing the sport's integrity with entertainment value, fighters' personal stories with their athletic performances, and the business of matchmaking with competitive fairness. Amidst all this, the fighters themselves stand at the intersection of these forces, navigating injury, media scrutiny, interpersonal dynamics, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. Daniel Cormier's apology serves as a reminder that even legends in the sport can misstep, but accountability and respect remain foundational to MMA's progress. Ilia Topuria's continued rise, marked by skill, professionalism, and resilience, challenges critics and inspires fans, embodying the complex, multifaceted nature of modern mixed martial apology arts. For spreading misinformation about Ilia Topuria sent shockwaves through the MMA community, sparking intense debate and reopening discussions about the responsibility that voices like his carry. For years, Cormier has been a respected figure both as a former champion and as a commentator known for his insightful analysis and candid opinions. Yet, this incident highlighted just how quickly narratives can spiral and how damaging misinformation, even unintentionally spread by influential figures, can be. Topuria's camp was quick to respond to Cormier's statements after the apology, emphasizing the fighter's dedication, skill, and professionalism. They pointed to his recent performances, dominating and finishing top-tier opponents, such as Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev, irrefutable proof of his elite status. They also praised Cormier's decision to apologize as a positive step toward correcting the record. However, the incident stirred deeper issues surrounding misinformation and respect in the MMA media ecosystem. Fans and analysts debated how much influence former fighters turned commentators should wield, and whether accountability mechanisms should be stronger when misinformation is spread, even unintentionally. Adding fuel to the fire, Renato Moicano erupted in a fiery interview following the controversy. Known for his passionate and no-holds-barred approach, Renato openly criticized what he called the fast-tracking of fighters like Topuria. The UFC sometimes moves fighters into title shots based on hype and marketability rather than merit, Renato asserted, his voice shaking with frustration. It's disrespectful to those of us grinding day in and day out for years. Renato's comments resonated with many in the division who feel the weight of proving themselves in a sport that rewards not just talent but timing, politics, and public perception. His outspoken nature, while sometimes divisive, brought to light a frustration shared by many fighters, the sense that the sport's meritocracy is sometimes overshadowed by business interests. Paulo Costa, meanwhile, maintained his usual candidness about professionalism and discipline. His remarks about fighters missing weight in title fights struck a chord across the UFC community. "You have one shot at glory," Costa said bluntly. "If you can't make weight, you don't deserve that shot. Simple as that." Costa's emphasis on accountability highlighted a crucial tension in the sport, balancing fighter health and safety with the demands of weight classes and fight readiness. His perspective underscored how pivotal discipline and preparation are in a sport where margins between victory and defeat are razor thin. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Arman Tsarukyan's revelations about his debilitating sciatic nerve injury added a humanizing layer to the discourse. His detailed account of how the injury affected his weight cut and ultimately cost him a title fight opportunity served as a stark reminder of the physical toll fighters endure. Unseen by fans and commentators, Tsarukyan's honesty and determination to overcome injury and return to competition garnered widespread respect, illustrating the resilience fighters must possess amid setbacks, both physical and mental. The lightweight division itself has become a boiling pot of emotions, rivalries, and aspirations. Fighters like Sean Strickland, who recently engaged in a tense cage-side moment involving a tongue gesture, reveal how psychological warfare has become as important as physical preparation. These small provocations, seemingly trivial to outsiders, can have profound impacts on fighters' focus and fight strategies. Commentators like Kenny Florian continue to champion fighters like Ilia Topuria, praising their holistic approach to MMA and their mastery of multiple disciplines. Florian's detailed analysis emphasizes the technical brilliance and strategic depth that fighters bring to the octagon, reminding fans that beneath the drama lies a fiercely competitive sport requiring immense skill and intelligence. Florian's observations about Topuria's upbringing, starting wrestling at age 5, adding Brazilian jiu-jitsu and boxing during his youth, how early specialization and diverse training contribute to his current dominance. Topuria's financial background, with family wealth and a luxurious home gym, contrasts with the traditional narrative of fighters coming from hardship. Yet, as his own journey shows, success in MMA requires more than money. It demands relentless work, sacrifice, and mental toughness. Arman Tsarukyan's lifestyle, including indulgences like expensive caviar, adds another dimension to how fighter lifestyles are evolving. The rich guy's fight narrative challenges stereotypes and shows that MMA attracts a diverse group of athletes with varied backgrounds and motivations. The fighters' stories, conflicts, and personalities all intersect with the business side of the UFC, which must juggle competitive integrity, marketability, and fan engagement. The matchmaking decisions whether to push Topuria, Tsarukyan, or other contenders into title shots reflect this complex balancing act. As the division prepares for upcoming bouts, the eyes of the MMA world remain fixed on how these narratives unfold inside the cage and beyond. Will meritocracy prevail, or will hype and market forces dictate the paths fighters take? In the meantime, the sport's evolving culture continues to captivate and divide, with every apology, outburst, and gesture adding new layers to an already intricate tapestry. Would you like me to continue with part 3? Perhaps focusing more on the upcoming fights, fan reactions, or behind the scenes Daniel Cormier's apology and Renato Moicano's fiery outburst? The lightweight division found itself at a crossroads. The buzz around Ilia Topuria's meteoric rise had reached a fever pitch, but beneath the hype was a complicated mix of anticipation, skepticism, and strategic maneuvering. Fans were divided. Some embraced Topuria as the new standard-bearer, a polished, ruthless fighter who was rewriting the record books with devastating knockouts and slick grappling transitions. Social media lit up with hashtags like hashtag 2PURIAAA era and hashtag 2DivisionKing celebrating his dominance. Highlight reels flooded YouTube and Instagram, racking up millions of views overnight. Others were more cautious, questioning whether Topuria's rapid ascent came at the expense of other deserving contenders. The murmurs of fact and circumvented meritocracy gained traction in forums and comment sections, fueled by voices like Renato and several veteran fighters who felt their own chances had been sidelined. Meanwhile, the UFC's matchmaking team faced mounting pressure to capitalize on the momentum while maintaining legitimacy. Internally, executives debated how to handle the division's crowded top tier. Arman Tsarukyan, despite his recent injury setbacks, remained a top contender whose wrestling base and well-rounded skill set posed a serious threat to any opponent. However, his sciatic nerve injury and missed weight episode raised questions about his readiness and durability. Justin Gaethje's name surfaced repeatedly in discussions about potential super. Known for his aggressive style and heart-stopping brawls, Gaethje was a fan favorite and a proven draw. Yet, contract complications and his BMF title status made negotiations tricky, delaying any official announcements. Dana White, always mindful of the business side, balanced the competing interests. On one hand, he recognized the undeniable fan interest in Topuria's matches and the viral nature of his story, especially after the controversy with Daniel Cormier. On the other hand, new UFC's credibility hinged on giving fighters fair shots and avoiding perceived favoritism. Behind closed doors, whispers of politics swirled. Insider sources hinted that some fighters with stronger management teams and better media presence were getting prioritized over those grinding quietly in the gym. The UFC's reliance on narratives and star power, combined with the economics of pay-per-view buys, often clashed with the traditional values of sportsmanship and merit-based competition. The upcoming fight calendar reflected these tensions. Topuria was slated to defend his lightweight title against a yet-to-be-confirmed challenger, with Arman Tsarukyan pushing hard to be next in line. The winner of a high-stakes bout between Gaethje and a top welterweight contender would likely be the next to challenge for gold, creating a cascade of matchups that could reshape multiple divisions. Fan forums and podcasts exploded with predictions, debates, and heated discussions. The divide between casual fans who loved spectacle and hardcore purists who craved legitimacy was clearer than ever. Some argued the UFC was simply adapting to modern entertainment demands, where storylines and personalities were as important as skill. Others lamented a potential loss of the sport's soul. Amid all this, Ilia Topuria remained focused. Despite the swirling drama, he continued training in his state-of-the-art gym, honing every aspect of his game. Interviews revealed a fighter grounded by discipline and humility. Though confident in his abilities, he acknowledged the pressure, but refused to be distracted by external noise. "I don't control what people say or think," Topuria said in a recent press conference. "I only control what I do inside the cage. My job is to be ready to fight, to win. Everything else is noise." His challenger, meanwhile, prepared with equal intensity. Arman Tsarukyan emphasized the story of resilience and redemption overcoming injury, missing weight, and critics to claim his rightful place among the elite. Tsarukyan's wrestling and grappling heavy style promised a tactical clash. Against Topuria's dynamic striking and submission skills, the stage was set not only for an epic battle inside the octagon, but for a broader confrontation about what UFC stands for in 2025. Would this be a turning point reaffirming meritocracy, or the continuation of a spectacle-driven era? Promoters ramped up marketing, teasing fans with cryptic messages and exclusive behind-the-scenes content. Hype videos, fighter interviews, and analyst breakdowns flooded digital platforms, generating unprecedented pre-fight excitement. Meanwhile, the media circus around Daniel Cormier's apology continued. Some pundits praised his humility and willingness to own his mistakes. Others criticized the initial spread of misinformation as careless, highlighting the responsibilities prominent voices hold in shaping narratives that affect fighters' reputations and careers. Renato Moicano doubled down on his criticism, calling for greater accountability across the sport, including from commentators and media figures. His passion underscored a growing demand among fighters to be heard and respected beyond just their performances. As the fight date approached, speculation about potential surprises and late replacements kept fans on edge. Injuries, contract disputes, and behind-the-scenes politics threatened to alter the landscape at any moment. A reminder that MMA's unpredictability extends far beyond the cage. For now, all eyes remain on Ilia Topuria and Arman Sarukian, the faces of a division and a sport grappling with its own identity. Their clash promises to be more than a fight. It's a microcosm of MMA's